Good morning.
Morning.
This is DadSchooled podcast, and I am Josh. That is Jimmy, and we're going to get into some heavy stuff today. We're going to talk about thoughts. When you feel like you're letting your family down as a dad. That actually had nothing to do with thoughts, which I led with, but then I changed the word, so it's whatever.
I
Anywho,
was curious. All right.
yeah, I just wanted to throw you off a little there.
All right. Good.
So if you're a dad, if you're a guy, I can't really say if you're anybody because this doesn't apply to the women folk, but they can still listen. That's okay. Um, have you ever thought this? I think I might be letting my family down. But usually it's a lot darker in your head. Like, man, I'm letting my family down. And it's not because you don't care. It's not because you're a failure. It's because I think you care too much. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why you feel like you're letting your family down. We have all the answers for you guys. So please stay tuned. Yeah, all the answers. We have not the answers you probably want to hear, but we have all the answers. So if you feel like you're working hard but doesn't feel like it's enough, Jimmy, do you feel like you're working too hard and it's not enough?
There's times.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
There's times. What about when you're trying to lead, but you're second guessing yourself?
Yeah.
Now, this is not the episode talking about when other people are second guessing you. This is when you're second guessing yourself. That's a different topic. We just talked about this. Don't change your wives, change your lives. Okay, no, sorry, I bring that in.
There you go.
What about if you feel like Jimmy? You ever feel like you're providing, but you're just still behind no matter what you do?
Yeah, been there.
Yeah, you've been there. Okay, you're checking the boxes. This is you.
Yeah, check.
Okay, Jimmy, have you ever felt like you're showing up, but it's just not? You're wondering if it's the right way.
Been there. Yeah.
Okay, man, Jimmy, this episode is, I think, for you. This might be the one for you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you for this gift. I'm excited.
And Jimmy, have you and other people ever thought that your wife deserves better?
Everyone tells me.
Okay. Has anybody ever told you your kids deserve better, including yourself?
How long are we asking me these questions?
I'm not having an intervention, and no one told me to ask you these things.
Okay.
Have anybody ever told you, Jimmy, you should do more than what you're currently doing?
Other people,
including yourself,
including myself. Oh yeah.
Okay.
The voices in my head. It's multiple. Sure. Yeah.
And Jimmy, this has become very apparent that you need this episode today.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. I'm glad it's so apparent.
Because I don't think that the problem is you're quitting. I think that you're just carrying the weight and emotions and dad feelings that you're just not enough. I think that's the problem.
Yep.
So where do you think those come? Where does that come from, Jimmy? Why do dads feel like one mistake defines them in everything they do? Like, because you probably beat yourself up every day, don't you, Jimmy?
Every day. No, I'll tell you, my internal dialogue is sometimes along the lines of, if I make a mistake on something, then it's I can't believe that I had made that same mistake again. I screwed up again. I can't believe I screwed up again. Yeah. You forget to do one of your chores, or I don't know, something happens. You're like, I did it again. I can't believe I'm always, I go with the absolutes instead of I made a mistake again. Okay, let's go fix the mistake. I go to the absolute phrases of I always screw up. I always forget things. And I swing it like so far to the extreme that it obviously isn't the case. I don't always, but I tell myself that. And then I get into the cycle of just beating myself up that I'm the absolute worst.
So wait a minute, you're telling me your wife tells you that you messed up, and she's hard on you,
no,
or you telling me that
usually doesn't even. Yeah, usually doesn't even have to come from someone else. I do a pretty good job beating myself up on my own.
Okay, so you're your best worst enemy, you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But why is it so hard to feel like you're doing enough then? Like why do you think that is? Why beat yourself up so much over it? Like you control your own emotions, right? So why are you so hard on yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you end up playing a comparison game against other, other dads or friends you have in the community, people that you know, and it looks like on the outside, like, oh, they got it all figured out. That everything just seems to click for them, or you have your own goals, whatever you're working towards, things that you would like to do, and you just can't ever seem to get there. And it feels like you're the reason why you end up telling yourself like, oh, it's because I could have gotten us there if I did the right thing, if I tried harder, if I didn't mess up here. There's 100 reasons.
So you're saying when you look over at me, you're like, man, he has it all together, and I don't. That's what you're saying?
I'm waiting for you to tell me all the ways that you've messed up.
Oh, it's coming. It's not until later in the show. So, okay. All jokes aside, that's the big one. The comparison game. Keeping up with the Joneses, we call it. Looking over. My gosh, I'm not. I don't want to get myself in trouble by saying that my wife does this, but she might, in some way, shape, or form, come to me and say, "Man, everyone's going on vacation." This is the common one in our household. Okay, everyone's going on vacation. I wish we can go on a vacation. That's the important thing to her. Like, she wants to have family time. I get it. I love it. I love family time. She's a very hard worker, very strong work ethic. She's always into something. There's not a minute of the day that she's not doing something productive. It's exhausting, honestly. I wish that she would slack off for 1 minute of her life, but she is not capable of it. And I want to be able to be like, yes, taking time for yourself, which I guess she does like every night, like maybe an hour before bed. She'll read a chapter in a book. Not an hour, a little bit, but she'll read a chapter in a book. She's been like really trying to stay diligent about doing that lately. But other than that, I wish she'd slack off more because she's just too productive. And it makes me feel like I can never sit down and relax either. Because if I sit down and she's working, then I feel like I'm slacking off. That's a different topic. The point I'm trying to make here is my wife always looks at somebody, always comments, hey, we should go on vacation. I want us kids to have a really good experience and remember these times with us. And it's borderline sometimes, keep up with the Joneses because people post all their springtime, summer fun, or summer spring break, summer fun vacations, and it just feeds to her, and she looks at social media a lot of times and sees that, and then that feeds back to me like, I don't know. She says that kind of thing, and it translates directly to my ears of, you're not doing enough to get us in a position that we can take these vacations. And it's hard for me. I know she's not saying that, but to me as the provider of our house, like, I percentage wise provide the most income for us to have the lifestyle we have. So when I hear things like, oh, we can't afford this or we can't go on this trip, it directly translates to my ears that you're not making enough. Which in reality, I'm making plenty. We're doing good for ourselves, but it's still that little thing that gets in my ear whenever I hear those things. And then if we have a decision we have to make, like we're having problems with our washer dryer once again. Well, our washer this time, surprisingly, the little sensor saying water not detected whenever it tries to fill. And here's a fun fact, and this I know we're going way off script here, Jimmy, and I apologize. I know you should expect this by now from me.
But I can't find this one in our notes.
Last night,
I'm looking for the washer story. I don't see it.
Yeah, washer. Last night or this morning at midnight, I pulled my washer away from the wall because it's like the only time I had to work on this. All the kids were going to bed before that and whatever. But I knew exactly where I needed to check to see what was wrong. And it was giving me the error that it just wasn't getting water. I know it's getting water because the clothes are wet inside, duh. But it's still freaking out because it's having some obstruction. So here's what I did. I shut off the little water water valves in the back, cracked open the lines, and in the process of doing this, I looked at the lines and I realized something. 2 years ago, when I hooked this washer and dryer up, and I bought these, I hooked the lines up wrong. The hot was going to the cold, and the cold was going to the hot. And I have made
So every time
comments.
you've had it on, wash my clothes in cold water, you've been putting it in
Hot water,
straight hot.
straight hot. Okay, and this is the thing: like the washer internally mixed it to like warm or hot. This was straight up the cold water was getting the hot, and it was like, this explains why our clothes are always hot when they come out of the washer. I was like, this is weird, you know. You shouldn't do this. It's on cold. I never thought to look at the back, and this is like dumb me. I'm not technical or mechanical. I know things, but for some reason I hooked these up backwards, right? And I'm like, I'm looking at these lines, and I'm thinking, surely I didn't make this dumb mistake. Surely my house lines are just swapped, and that's why I did this, because I know better, right? And sure enough, my hot water wouldn't turn all the way off either. That's the other annoying thing. So now I have a bad house valve I gotta either ignore diligently or take care of. As long as it's not leaking, I'm not going to do anything with it. But it wouldn't turn off all the way, so it was a little small trickle. It was straight up hot water out of the hot. I'm like, dang it. I did hook it up backwards. So all that aside, I was able to put the little lines into the wash basin next to the washer. And these are stacked. It's an efficiency washer on the bottom, dryer on top. So it's like heavy as heck, right? So I get this thing moved, get the lines all pulled off. I pull out that filter, the little screen filter inside, completely junked up. Now it was going to the cold section, right? The hot water was. Now, mind you, we had our hot water heater go out a couple months ago. I completely start leaking in our back room. Internally, they said there's all sorts of junk. You know what? That junk went everywhere in our house. It was all over that screen. It was all gunked up on the cold intake. I'm like, dang it. So I did what any respecting dad would do. I pulled that screen out. I washed it as best as I could, and it's all clean now. And then just to make sure, I took the hot water out, which is perfectly clear. I put it in the cold water. I took the other one, put it in the hot water. I'm like, we don't use hot water as much. We shouldn't be, even though we were. And that's another thing. How much efficiency and hot water have I been using on my washer? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this.
For the last 2 years.
No. Yeah, 2 years. Oh my gosh, I thought it was 10 years. Okay, 2 years. That explains it. It's like our gas bills been going up, our water bills. It's just messed up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. My wife doesn't know any of this yet either. I found it out last night at midnight, so it's gonna be good to tell her this.
Good thing she doesn't watch this show.
Good thing she doesn't watch this show. Jimmy's mom, don't tell her. So anyways, I hooked it all up, and I got it all in there. And because I had the system that was leaking water out the back, and it was emptying of water, and I tried it next, it gave me the same error. But I was listening to it, and it sounded like, you have a hose, and you have air in your hose. It was like that sound you don't want to hear again, going through the lines. Yeah. And then it finally got all the air out. Well, when it was trying to do the test cycle with some clothes that's been sitting in there, it gave the error again. So then I just okay, I ran it again, and it ran fine with no problems, no error coming up. We have a little app on our cell phone actually that tells us there's an error for the washer. So it didn't error for the first time in a long time. So I'm hoping I fixed it. That entire story, the point of that, Jimmy, you're like, where is he going with this? The point of that is, I have this thing in my head. I messed up. This is all my fault. This should not, if this was hooked up correctly, we rarely use the hot water. That the hot water heater dying, I don't think is my fault because we used it on the washer. It was dying. It was 12, 13. It was a 13-year-old water heater. It was going anyways. Okay. Now, did we excessively use it by having a family of 6 washing clothes constantly? Maybe it contributed. But now I got to tell my wife, and I'm dreading this, that I messed up. Like her technical husband that should know everything. I know she's not going to be as hard as I am myself, but I messed up. And I got to come confess this to her. And I can't hide it anymore because I just told the entire world on a podcast. But, it's it makes me feel like a failure, even though I have a whole track record of wins. That little thing right there makes me feel
one
like
thing just
that
takes
one thing. Yeah.
it just
That
takes
one thing
one
that,
thing.
you know, I don't have any memory of this, and I don't know if it's just like the snowball effect off of this issue. Like, are there clothes that my wife is like, I wonder why they're not fitting me anymore? I wonder if there's things that have shrunk in our household because of this mistake. And I just didn't know it. Like my son's pants, they're shorter than, like, they always seem to be short. Is this why? Am I shrinking his clothes every single time he washes them?
How
I
many
don't know.
chapters in your story would have been written differently if just the hoses, that one simple choice, if the
Right.
hoses had just been put in
Right. So
right spot.
the metaphorical here is like, don't cross your hoses, dads. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, like, how many trips to Lowe's have we made because of this issue? Not Lowe's, Kohl's to get clothes.
Oh gosh, yeah. Go get more clothes.
Yeah, how many times does that happen? And it's just like, oh, he's a grown boy, or I've been like, but in fact, it's just dad didn't hook up the washer right, and the clothes are shrinking. That shrink guard did nothing, I tell you. Anywho, so that's my little see. When am I going to put my story out? There it is. There's my story.
There we go. Thank you. I feel better about myself.
Yeah. So the whole one bad mistake doesn't take care of 10 good ones. You know, doesn't wipe your board clean, start over. And you know, you use the word absolute, and I was gonna make fun of you for being a Sith when you said that, but I didn't, and I'm still not going to. But it's true. Like in an argument with your spouse or with yourself or other people, or listening to your kids argue to each other when they have a problem, the first thing they go to is the blanket statement absolute. You always do this. I always do that. You always do that. And you don't always do
never.
that.
Always or never. Those are the two words that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the same thing goes with us internally. Like, we look past all of our successes as dads whenever we have a mistake, and we're like, oh, I always mess up. Dang it, not again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jimmy, are there dads out there who mess up all the time? Like nonstop?
Maybe. I hope not, but maybe.
Okay. I'm going to say statistically as possible, okay? Now,
but no, generally, I would say that's not the case.
Yeah, generally it's not the case, but I truly believe statistically in the universe there is a dad that no matter what they do, good intention or bad, they mess up. But the statistical chance of that being you, one of our listeners, is very low. Okay. Broadly speaking, your one mistake is not what defines you. You know, it could be a huge mistake. Like not doubting that. You could blow up half your house. You know, I don't know what you did. But you know what? Tell us what you did. Go to dadschooledpodcast.com. Scroll down to the bottom, the contact form, and tell us what you did. And
tell us how you blew up your house.
Yeah, tell us how you blew up your house. But FBI, don't listen to this, please. No, but seriously, dads measure themselves by their worst moments. You know, that's not how you should do it. Not their overall faithfulness, and that's in my opinion. And this is gonna get down the whole controversy rabbit hole again. We've had some conversations about faith in this podcast in the past that have come back at us, but great conversations online, one-sided mostly. But I would argue that even biblically strong men have felt this weight before. Do you think that's true, Jimmy? Or you just say I'm full of malarkey?
No, I mean, it's one of the great things about scripture is that it's stories of real people having real experiences and real emotions. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. So we got David. Big surprise. David's a really good model for how not to be sometimes.
But gives us all the emotions.
He does. And, you know, so Psalm 38:4, right? For my iniquities have gone over my head like a heavy burden. They are too heavy for me. That doesn't sound all sunshiny and roses to me, Jimmy. I don't think David just had a bad day here. He's dealing with some real failure in life. And if you know anything about David, he's made some mistakes. He's gone down the bad road a couple times, right?
Yeah.
He could
He's
feel
also done some of the most amazing things. When
exactly.
you read some of his other stuff, like, oh, if I could just be like David, and then you see the parts where he messes up, and there's so many parts of the Psalms where it seems like that's how he defines himself, where he's just stuck on that. You're like, but look at all this other stuff that you've done that's just absolutely phenomenal. So it's, yeah, where is your actual identity? Who are you really? That's
One can say that David crossed his washer lines a couple times throughout Scripture, and that is blotting out in his eyes at this moment all the things that he's done and people he's saved, nations he's saved. It's it's hard to separate this. Like in reality, when you lose your temper, for Jimmy, when you lose your temper, okay, I've never seen you lose your temper. First of all, just to put that out there, but I'm sure it happens. Or when you made a bad decision, or you've just handled something the wrong way, or you've taken something out of context and you've just blown up for no reason. Those moments don't wipe out everything you've done that's good. I mean, you have two very beautiful girls you're raising. You have a wonderful wife. You seem to have it all together. You're a Jones idol almost in most people's eyes, probably. And we don't know the struggles you guys have on a daily basis that your wife has to put up with you. We don't know that. But the point of all of this rambling, Jimmy, is that it's not like your one mistake doesn't define you. That's what I'm trying to point out here. My washer machine hoses should not cause me great trouble today when I tell my wife. I'm just trying to put that out there. But sticking with biblical context, what about Peter? Has Peter ever had a problem?
Peter caused a lot of his own problems. Rushing in head first and all that.
Okay, so here's another side to this coin. Okay, so Peter, this is the Peter who said Matthew 26:34. Truly, I tell you, this very night before. This is not Peter talking. Sorry, this is Jesus talking. My bad. But he says, truly, I tell you, this very night before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Obviously, Peter was like, no, you're wrong. Even though you're the creator of the universe's son, and you know all and see all, I'm going to tell you you're wrong when you say this statement. That's what Peter was saying in that moment. It always cracks me up. Like they're telling him, moment. You're Lord. We know who you are. They're saying they know who he is. But even in this moment, that always makes me snicker. He's like, no, not me. I'm not going to deny you. You're wrong. You got out of everything you've said that's been amazing, all the things that you've done that we've seen, you're wrong on this one.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
And then when brass tacks came down, right, he denied Jesus 3 times. Right? Yeah. So when that happened, and here's the part. He not only did Peter hear this and realize it, right? When that happened, Luke 22:61 tells us, and the Lord turned and looked at Peter, and Peter remembered the saying of the Lord, and he went out and wept bitterly. Okay. Not only did he get told previously that night, you're gonna mess up big. Then he realizes it happened, but he looked in the eyes of the person he betrayed, and then it all hit him at that moment. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe there is, but I'm pretty sure that might be the lowest moment of anybody's life right there.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get much lower than
that. That's a tough pill to swallow right there.
It is. And then where do you go from there? Like, I don't know. Contextually, if you look at what people do, Judas, he betrayed Jesus, right? I would arguably say he might have done worse. He might have done Jesus a little more dirty than Peter did. Peter just said, I don't know you. Judas did actually give him up to the enemy. But Judas went out and hung himself. He was so shameful what he did. I've always considered, like, in this moment, seeing what happened, like, Jesus looked at Peter, like, internally, I'm not sure I want to continue either at that moment. Not condoning suicide, but like at that moment, like the person, I guess it would have been different if Jesus rose from the grave and then looked at Peter and did that. Like, look, you're really wrong. I am God. I don't know. That always has got me like, man, where do you,
Oh yeah,
like,
I've
tomorrow
always thought
morning he
about
wakes
Peter.
up, what does he think first? Like, oh man, I denied Jesus. Like that.
Well,
That's gonna be
he's
what you
carrying that. He's carrying that, seeing that Jesus just got crucified. He's dead, and that was the last. Pretty much the last conversation he had with him was, yeah, you're gonna deny me. And then he goes and he does it, and then he sees Jesus dead and buried, and then they're hanging out still. The disciples are still hanging out together, and he's got that burden on his shoulders. Like, yeah, that just happened. I mean, Jesus is gone. He's dead, and I absolutely denied him, betrayed him, whatever. And he's just carrying that. He's like, I can't believe this is how it ended. This is how it ended.
And I've often wondered
3 days.
those 3 days, if all of those disciples became alcoholics. I often wonder that. Like, if they straight up just went on a binge, like, we are the worst. Well, they're fearful for their lives. A person leading their organization just got killed in the most brutal way possible. Like, I guess they're probably just hiding in fear. But honestly, like, the guilt that Peter must have had at that moment, that to me would be like, he is either taking something to sleep longer that night or it's just miserable. I don't know. We're obviously projecting like today's solutions and common things and results we see onto back then. But man, it just hits for this context that we're talking about. It's the worst. Publicly, he was called out on his kind of lie. I call it publicly because people were asking him in the public, and he was like, no. And then Jesus looked at him, and he knew. The public might not have known, but he knew, and that's the thing. So yeah, but it gets better. It gets better because after the fact, the resurrection, Jesus doesn't replace Peter. He doesn't, like, the first thing Jesus does coming out of the tomb wasn't to smite Peter. He restores him. Like, Peter acknowledged what he did, and Jesus restored him because he had faith in Jesus. So Jesus rewards that faith and restores him and empowers him, and his story is not done. He has obviously a very brutal death to look forward to, but that is for another reason.
Unbeknownst to him at the moment.
Right. Okay. So yeah. And then Jesus, John 21:17, Jesus said to Peter, feed my sheep. He wasn't done with him. He wasn't giving up on him just because he denied him and because he messed up. Just because he switched the washer inlet lines, Jesus did not throw him aside. And I'm going to remind my wife that even Jesus forgave, Peter in that moment. He mixed up the washing lines. So therefore, I too shall be forgiven.
I love he gave Peter the chance to be fully restored, because Peter denied Jesus 3 separate times, and so then 3 separate times Jesus asks the question, Peter, do you love me? And Peter gets to give a response to that question 3 times, and then it's at the end of that he says, okay, great, I'll go feed my sheep. Like, go, you've got work to do. We're good here. Like, we've settled the score, we've put all that behind us. You've got work to do. Go feed my sheep. And that I can't imagine that weight just coming off of his shoulders,
Yeah. So let's go a different tact. So let's review here, because we've gone so far, Jimmy. So far. We had David, who had, the pressure of leading a nation on his shoulder, and making actually let's strike that from the record. I didn't say that. David, the focus was big mistakes he's made, right? He's made huge mistakes. He's made, sent a man to die in a war, lay with his wife, committed adultery. You know, he's done some bad things, but those people do remember him for those things. I'm not going to deny that, but he's known for greater things, and he did great things, and those poor things don't really define him, even though you can probably look that up and define him by that.
Well, I mean, they just came out with a cartoon movie of David this summer,
That's
and
true.
they didn't focus on the failures. Just put it that way. It was a kids movie of a hero, someone to look up to. They focused on all the great things that he did in
Right.
life.
Thank you for rescuing me on that one, Jimmy. You're correct.
There you go.
So then Peter, who straight up denied that he knew the creator of our universe's son, he was forgiven for his mistake, right? So the theme here, let's continue on down this pipeline here. Let's talk about Moses. Let's talk about someone who didn't even feel like he was enough or doing enough or capable of doing enough, right? So early on, before Moses even attempted and failed, he doubted himself. Before then, God picked him. God chose him. God empowered him, and he was there for him. So Exodus 3:11, Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt?" So he's questioning, like, who am I? I'm not anything special. I'm not good enough. And as well as, oh my Lord, I'm not eloquent. Exodus 4:10. I'm not eloquent, but I am slow of speech and tongue. He's making excuses. Like he is trying his hardest not to do something because he feels like he is incapable. He's failing himself before he even tries, right? And God knows that, and he equipped him. He didn't just like give him the tools. Here's the big thing. I'm skipping, my gosh, I'm skipping through things. But he didn't just tell him you are enough. You know, he didn't say you got this. He didn't give him some pep talk. He did him one better. Exodus 3:12. I will be with you. Like, I don't know, as a Christian male, that is some of the most empowering words I can think of. And I I'm not trying to be silly by saying this, but I know God is with me even when I have to approach my wife and tell her I switched the lines on the washer. He's with me. It's not like I'm gonna go face anything alone. I can go to work and have the worst day possible, but I know he is still with me. Therefore, I'm gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out, even through the most tragic circumstances in life. I don't have to understand why something's happening. I just have to understand that God is with me, and there is no plan B. No matter what decisions I make or bad choices, good choices I make, my choices were not outside of what is supposed to happen in this universe. God's with me. That's the key message there. If God was not with me, I should be worried. I should be very worried. But because I know God is with me, I'm not. So, Jimmy, comments on
And
that.
yeah, I mean, I love all the portions of this story. It's it's been distilled down into just a fun kids story
Yeah.
anymore, but there's so many layers to it. When Moses is saying, "Who am I to go approach Pharaoh and and try to make these claims?" You grew up in his home,
Right.
like you're part of his family. Like you are the perfect individual to come and stand up for the people of Israel because you're one of them. That's your actual family. But to be in front of Pharaoh, he knows you more intimately than anyone else. So yeah, like you are the perfect person. So brush all that aside. I'm sure Moses in the back of his head, he's like, yeah, we don't see this part in scripture. He's like, yeah, but I killed a guy. Like
Yeah.
I'm a murderer. I mean, how am I the right person when I've done something that drastic and terrible? And then he comes out with but I can't speak well. I'm not so good
Mhm.
with words like he's just whatever his issue is, a stutter, or he's not bold. We don't know. He just says he's not good with words. But then God says, "I'll be with you, and I'm going to send your brother with you too,
Yeah.
like someone to also speak." You say that that's something you're not good at. All right, I got your back. You're not going to be alone. I'm here. Your brother's going to go too. Aaron,
Mhm.
Aaron, go be with Moses. Um,
I
he
could use
provided
this.
him.
I could use
He
this with my
provided him
son.
support.
I can, anytime that Oliver doesn't want to do anything, I can be like, it's okay. Take your brother. It's biblical. I can point right to this passage and be like, Luke, you have to go. It's your destiny as a brother. You have to go with him because this is what Moses and Aaron did. Sorry, it just popped in my head.
Just give him a staff and tell him to start smacking rocks, and everything will work out.
But don't smack all the rocks. You got to talk to God first.
Talk to some of them.
That's what kicked him out of the promised land, man. You can't do that to him.
Your boys are just in the backyard, and the neighbor's like, why are your kids always talking to rocks and smacking them? And
I'm thirsty.
It's biblical, okay?
I'm thirsty. Okay.
There's something wrong at that house.
So recapping real quickly here. David, I failed and it's crushing me. Peter, I failed when it matters most. Moses, I don't think I'm enough for all this, right? That about sums it up. But through it all, God always worked through men in the place that they're in whatever situation they're in life. God works through them and basically glorifies himself. It points back to God and his wisdom and his glory. Oh man, I went off on a tangent there, and I'm sorry. I almost want to blame you, but I know we can't because we recorded this. So lies that start to take over, Jimmy. Right? Jimmy. Do you ever say to yourself, "I'm not doing enough"?
I am right now.
Do you ever regret everything you're no? Nah, common phrases, if you hear these from your own head ever, guys out there, I'm not enough. I'm messing things up. My family would be better off without my mistakes. I'm failing as a husband and a father. It's not something you should think, obviously, and it causes you to lose your confidence, stop leading your family. You think you're not enough, so you pause. You pause what you should be doing, and you just start wallowing in your failures, or you're not even attempting things because you think you're just gonna mess them up. You become short-tempered. You just withdraw. So, if a dad believes he's starting to fail, he leads like he's already lost. He's not going to be effective. So, I'm not trying to be like, it's all confidence, fix yourself. You better yet? But honestly, when you start thinking you're going to fail and you start hesitating on things you should be doing, you're going to fail. So that's the thing that you need to keep in mind. Jimmy, I feel like you have 4 truths that all dads need to hear.
Yeah, we'll break them down just super simple that number one, your family doesn't need a perfect dad. They're not expecting you. You shouldn't be expecting you to be absolutely perfect, never make a mistake. They just need you to be there. They need you to be present. Second, a bad moment one single moment does not define your entire story of fatherhood, of husbandness.
Husbandry?
I don't know what the proper husband.
No, it's animal husband.
No, that one moment doesn't define everything about you. Just like we were looking at Peter and David, like that, their one mistake, that's not the whole thing that defines them. Number 3 is faithfulness matters more than perfection. Again, like you shouldn't be expecting perfection, but being faithful, choosing to make the faithful choice when it's present in your mind. And then number 4, God is working through you even when you don't see it. He's present, and he'll send someone oftentimes to be there by your side. I think failure is one of those things that we don't handle super well in our society in general. We don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do with it. And especially in this age of social media, it can be absolutely brutal. Like to your point of how much we compare, seeing what's going on in someone else's life. Some people like to post, too many people like to post the terrible parts of their life because they get They get the social points of victimhood
Pity.
points. It's
The
like a
pity
currency these days. Yeah, the pity
Yeah.
points. So there are people that post that sort of stuff, but a lot of it is people posting only the highlights, only the great parts. And so then you end up feeling like, so it's brutal these days that when you do have a mistake, when you personally make a mistake you're responsible for, and that's your lens that you're filtering everything in your world through, it feels like, oh my gosh, like I've absolutely failed. And I'm worse than anybody else that's out there. No one else is doing what I'm doing or experiencing what I'm experiencing. Failure provides great opportunities for learning, and adapting, adjusting. And we don't handle it that way very well these days. We don't look at it as this could be an opportunity. What were the circumstances that led this to go wrong? Are there circumstances I could change now that in the future could help prevent me from having the same mistake? Who was in my corner in the past when I screwed up or when something went wrong and they helped me through it? Is that someone I can reach out to and say, hey, you've been there before me before, I've got this going on? Or set it up to where in the future they're by your side, be the Moses to, or the Aaron to your Moses. Be by my side. I've got this thing coming up. I need backup. I need someone with me to help me walk through whatever I've got coming up. There's so many ways that we can have opportunities for better success, and better preparation if we change our mindset. Instead of, I just beat myself up every time I screw up and I'm just going to keep doing it again. Look at how everyone else is doing so awesome. And I just can't attain that. I can't keep up. Take that lens away. Like just stop with the doom scrolling, because that doesn't benefit anything.
Right.
And dig deep in your community, dig deep in your marriage. That's your primary person. That's your teammate. That's by your side. And then who else is in your community that can walk through this stuff with you?
Right. Was that number one?
No, that was all four.
Okay.
That was my distill it all into one rambling thought. You're welcome.
So you're gonna laugh at this. I think punctuation matters, and I think I was too tired when I was writing this. But in closing encouragements, okay, Jimmy, I was about ready to lead with, if you feel like you're letting your family down, you're not the only one. Boy, are you right. No, everything you said was true, and you're not letting your family down. If you feel like you're letting your family down, like, I'm not going to say statistically you're not. There's a chance that there's someone out there who probably is. We want to hear from you. Please message us at DadSchoolPodcast.com. Go to our website and leave us a comment on how you're letting your family down. And it can be anonymous. And we will love to talk more about this and use your example to help other dads what not to do. But
we mostly would like to have a side conversation with you off microphone.
Yeah, yes. We're not going to blast
so that we can encourage you.
I kind of said that wrong. We're not going to highlight your failures on air. We want to help you. We're not going to make fun of you. So please reach out to us. But I assure you, 99.999% of the time, you're not right in what you're feeling that you're letting your family down. You're not. You need to double down. And I think the root of everything here is you need to double down in Scripture. I think that's a safe bet. You need to double down and look back at how Christ redeems us and how we as dads are built to walk us alongside Christ and lead our family in that direction. I feel like all your problems in your life will suddenly go away in regards to what you're feeling. Like, you're going to have problems as a Christian. That's guaranteed. It's scripturally, the Scripture. But you need to understand you're supposed to be leading your family in a Christ-centered walk. You should not be wallowing in your own pity that you did something wrong. You know, that's making it about you. That's bringing Oh, I just had a conversation last night about this. It is not being selfish, kind of being selfish, but you are what's the word? I can't remember. Anyways, you're making it all about yourself, and you are even when you're saying, oh, I mixed the washer hoses up. I'm focusing on that, and I made that mistake, not focusing on what really matters. Because I guarantee you, when push comes to shove, and I'm being judged by the Almighty Creator, He's not going to look at me and be like, Josh, you messed those hoses up, didn't you? That is the straw that broke the camel's back. You can't go to heaven now because you messed those hoses up. Now, if those hoses caused me to deny Christ, maybe that could be true. But that's also selfishness of making that all about me instead of realizing the true importance of mistakes happen, move past, ask for repentance, ask for forgiveness, and do better, going forward. There you go. And like you said, parodying that, showing up, being present as a dad. But I really, 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 truly believe everything starts with Scripture, because Scripture tells us to be present as a dad, not to leave our families and go off with somebody else, make another family, because we don't like, that is in the Bible, but that's what's pointed at what not to do.
Right.
Yeah, it's not modeled as the ideal situation that we're supposed to do. So closing thoughts, Jimmy, before we like, subscribe, and follow us.
You're not alone in these feelings. We all have those moments. Dig into community. Find a place that you can have someone that's can provide some wisdom, some encouragement, and help you take a look at your life and go, oh yeah, it's not just me, and then have someone that can back you up.
Exactly. Have a bro to help you out.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of bros.
All the bros.
All the bros. All right. Like, subscribe. You'll find our social links on dadschoolpodcast.com. And I believe we'll have a show next week. I have some trips and journeys and going on this week, going to a homeschool convention. It's going to be exciting. And then we have another show, hopefully, next Monday. And then Jimmy and I will be heading out and going to another homeschool convention together. Not like riding in the same car, but we're going to meet up there and be like, hey.
We could just have our families cram in another car and me and you just.
We have to, with the size of our families, we have to rent probably like one of those Econoline vans.
It could be fun.
Which could be entertaining in itself. I'm sure the kids would have a blast doing that, actually.
Yeah, probably.
That would not be very economical, though.
Yeah.
So anyways, see you guys later. Like, subscribe. Please reach out to us if you need any help. We're here for you, not to make fun of you, but to be alongside you and help you walk in a God-centered walk in life. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.